So I just want to start by thanking you guys for being here and thank you guys for being part of the group. It's absolutely insane. You guys have been blowing it up, helping each other out, making sure that everybody's winning here. And you guys have been very selfless, and I totally respect it. I haven't been able to get off my phone because of you guys, because I'm just watching the comments and responding to all the great messages. So very grateful for that. And like I said a little bit ago, my goal was to reach 600 members of the group by August, and clearly we've already shattered that. We're just about to hit 1,000, so hopefully we'll hit that by tonight, and we'll keep growing from there. Um, and yeah, so today is just going to be really short. It's about mindset and just the core concepts of the 9 by 12, which most of you guys probably already know most of the core concepts, but I have a little bit to say about the mindset part of it. And I want to start with my story of how I got into it. So I started out, I went to college, and through college, I did a little bit of web design on the side. Struggled to get clients. It's pretty hard to sell web design, especially over email. But it made a little bit of side income for me to get me through college. And then I eventually got into real estate, and the worst possible time you can get into real estate. So I've been in real estate for about a year. Literally the worst market you could possibly get into real estate. Absolutely no volume. There's no houses for sale on the market. But at the same time, it's not like 2008 where houses were half price and people actually buy them. Houses are extremely expensive. So when you actually did get a listing, it's still extremely difficult to sell. And I'm sure some realtors here can kind of empathize with that. And especially being my first year, it's been kind of tough. So I got desperate, basically on my last few dollars. And one day my mom said to me, you know, I've been seeing this thing pop up on my YouTube shorts or whatever, and they were talking about how you can make money just like selling postcards or something. So anyway, she found what she was talking about, and it was Jake Lorraine's YouTube channel, and he was talking about the 9 by 12s, and it was just like one of his basic videos just describing how you can make money by selling these ad slots on the 9 by 12s. And instantly it made sense. And like I said, I was desperate for money. I was desperate to make it work. So right away, I jumped into it, made, I think, three sales of $1,500 worth of ad slots in sales that same day. I started 10 minutes after I saw the video. I started just sending off emails. And that's really what it takes. So in terms of the mindset, like some of you guys are probably telling yourself, I'll start once I get my website set up, or I'll start once I get this fancy CRM set up. But the reality is, I sold out one card my first month. I sold out two full cards my second month, and I'm gonna sell out three cards this month, three different towns, with nothing but my personal email, no website. Although I did just build a website, I'm not using it yet. I'll use it to scale, but all I did was use my personal email, and I've sold out. I'm going to be selling out three cards this month. So to the people who are saying you can't start until you have a website, you're honestly probably lying to yourself. And in a lot of cases, you might be giving yourself these excuses as a way to protect yourself from failure. But the reality is that's just a defense mechanism. And the thing about failure is most of the people that are posting about their wins in this group, if you guys go to the wins section, you'll see so many people that have posted that they're selling like flat. There's one guy that sold five slots yesterday, I'm pretty sure, and it was his second day doing it. But the reality is, in between those five sales, he had a ton of failures and a ton of no's. So you will literally never win unless you guys fail. So don't you gotta ignore those defense mechanisms that's telling you not to fail, and just dive on in. So I just want you to picture yourself making somebody finally says, I'm in. I want to buy that $900 slot. And type in the chat how that would make you feel. You get your first sale, $900. Dope. Motivated to sell more, ready for more. Yeah. Music to my ears. Exactly. Yeah. Once you get that first slot sold, you guys will be on an absolute roll. And there's already people that were posting about their wins after doing it for a day. Some people already sold multiple $900 slots in their first day because they just took that action that was necessary. They avoided building the website. And some people have great plans. Like You're actually taking action, you're building the website, and some people are valid in doing that and they want to put it together a big plan. But what I'm saying is it's not necessary, and in a lot of cases you guys are using that as an excuse, but not everybody. Some people just, they want to be fully prepared, and that's fine. So yeah, let's flip the scripts and seek failures so that you can get those wins in the middle rather than avoiding failures so you never get the wins. That's basically what I'm saying. So yeah, I guess you should ask yourself, some people will be doing this part-time. Some people want to build this a six-figure business out of this, and some people just need cash right now, like I did. And this will dictate your day-to-day schedule. And later in the course, which I've already written, you guys will see I put together a 1 week schedule for how you could sell the entire card out in a week. Basically, if you if you sell one card a week, you're selling 4 cards a month. That's about $16,000 profit if you sell them with the same prices that I do. And that's going to be a six-figure business, and just whatever your actual goals are, just split up the hours to achieve your actual goals. So yeah, that's basically all there really is to the mindset. I can't teach you guys mindset, but we can continue to push each other to stop making excuses for ourselves and just really drive in the action. And I see you guys already commenting on each other's posts saying to just stop overthinking it and dive in. So I appreciate that. I'm not the only person talking about that. So the second section is just core concepts. Most of you guys probably already understand this, but simplicity sells. So some people are crafting up these really intricate sales pitches for their first emails. And you'll see, if you guys have already looked at my prospecting section, what I've found success in is an extremely, extremely simple script that doesn't come across as salesy. You almost don't want to appear to be a business. You want to make yourself seem like a member of the community. You're just bringing businesses together to share the cost of marketing. You're not a marketing agency yourself. You're just a community member that's providing to the community. That's the way you really want to frame it. And you'll feel better about yourself that way. And they will be much more receptive to your rather than a fancy sales technique. So, and not to mention the response rate when your subject is already trying to sell them on the subject line, they're not even going to open that email. So usually, as you'll see in my scripts, for the subject line, I just say question that entices them to actually open it. You don't want to sell too early. Yeah, like I said, you're a community connector. You're not just a salesperson. You don't want to be seen as somebody selling ads. You're not selling ad slots. You're bringing businesses together to split the cost of marketing, and you guys make margins in the middle, but you're bringing people together. That's the goal. And you want to have a value first mindset. So really wrap your head around the value that you're providing to the businesses. You're giving them the ability to be almost inside every single door in their town or in their little neighborhood. 5,000. In my case, I did 5,000 cards. That's more than enough. You're also splitting the cost of marketing tenfold in most cases. And it's also a little bit stickier because if you think about it, let's say let's say we have a painting company here. Oh, it's not showing because of my background, but let's say a painting company sends out direct mail. In a lot of cases, somebody's not going to need a paint job on their house. But the thing is, and they're just going to throw it in the trash. But the thing with this card is maybe they're going to need that dog store dog food discount. So they're going to keep the card, even though they didn't need the paint job, they're going to keep the card a little bit longer. It's just a little bit stickier so that painting company is still in front of them for a little bit longer than they would be. So that's just another big piece of value you can sell your clients on. So yeah, those three things are really all you have to explain to your clients, and it'll sell itself. You don't want to overcomplicate, and you don't want to give them too many reasons to buy because it'll drown out the real reasons, which are those 3 points. And the last thing is the most important. It's communication. As soon as you make the sale, you want to lay out exactly what the process is going to be from then on. You want to tell them the next time you're going to follow up with them. You want to tell them a general timeline of when you're going to have all the slots filled up, when you're going to put it in for print, and when they should arrive at people's mailboxes generally, and make it clear that that's not a set date because you don't want to lie if things end up getting pushed back a little bit. But yeah, communication is crucial because that'll increase the chances that they renew. Because when you give them any ounce of uncertainty, you can't really draw them back in. So if they're uncertain for a week of what the heck is going on, even if you do end up, reeling the back end, they finally understand. Well, then the next month they're like, well, this guy, I don't know, he seems kind of scammy. He made it happen the first time, but I'm not totally sure if I should keep renewing. It just makes me uncomfortable. But if you guys just lay out the process and you're clear and you have a systematic approach to it that you use with every single business, then you'll be fine and they'll be much more likely to refer you guys. And yeah, those are really the core pillars of the business. So I know some of you guys are recording this with AI so that it's writing notes. So if you want to post those notes into our group later so that people have notes that aren't taking notes, then that would be awesome. So that's really all I have for this first chapter, but we can open it up to Q&A now. And I think you guys should be able to unmute yourself.
Can you just talk about real quick? Let's say someone pays today, and that's the first one on your card. What time frame are you giving them of, hey, this should be out in the mail by X date? Is it a couple weeks? I mean, I know it puts pressure on you to sell out the card, but what's
Yeah. It really depends on what you're comfortable with. If it's your first card, I would give yourself at least 6 weeks, just because it'll take about a week to fulfill. So that leaves you 5 weeks. Um, a week, give yourself a week buffer, just in case someone doesn't get their ad in on time or you're just dealing with dilemmas. So that's another week. So then you have 4 full real weeks to actually do the prospecting and fill it up. But it's really what you're comfortable with. Eventually, I've gotten down to just giving myself a 1 month deadline. And in terms of giving them an ad deadline, I ask for the ad within a week in advance of when I'm planning on putting in the order. So if I'm putting in the order on the 14th, I ask for all ads to be in by the 7th. That way they have time if they're late.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Hey Mitch, I've got a question on when you do your design work as far as your graphics go. I use Canva quite a bit, but I'm not proficient at it. I'm slow just because the way I design and my thought process just doesn't come to me real quickly.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on first time for that part? That's kind of the part that's hanging me up, is making sure I can meet that deadline.
Well, have you seen the templates that I put into the freebie section? Have you taken a look at those yet?
I did. I kind of browsed through them quickly.
Yeah,
and I think it's good. I think that's good. But short of, I guess, copying you, I guess any other tips or advice you might have there.
I guess stick to a few core principles. A lot of my ads are very similar. They're just the QR codes are in different sections, but they're very similar. And if you just switch up the fonts and the colors and just move things, and you have the same sections, but just move them around, they'll already look like totally different ads. And you change the language to actually match their business, and you have totally different ads. And you just moved a few sections around, so you can really reuse all the same ads that you already made, and they'll all look totally different from each other.
Have you had any response so far with everything you've done in terms of anyone being unhappy with what you've created for them?
Honestly, not that I can think of. I did web design before this, so I had already a little bit of an eye for design. But yeah, and I mean, I guess just make it clear to them that if they have any minor changes they'd want you to make, then you can make that available to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good question, Mitchell.
Yep.
Cool. So, I mean, first of all, I just want to express some gratitude. You really brought us EDM people together after, I've been bitching on Jake and there was no one else to talk with. So I appreciate this. But the question is on just the reoccurring payment sort of thing. Like, how do you actually pitch that, lay out the expectations on having them reoccurring, which I'm assuming is how you easily sell 3 or 4 cards a month.
Yeah, honestly, it's been, so what I do is I haven't used any contracts, which probably isn't a good idea. But I do offer discounted rates to entice people to recur. And that's obviously more enticing, especially for the larger companies that $500 is already in the budget, then $400 is definitely going to be in the budget. They'll right away just commit to 12 months, and that fills up a slot for the entire year. So definitely discounts and probably contracts would help make things more enticing for them. I never got to doing that. but it gives them a little bit
I
more
got you.
security. And
I
you
got you. I
also
got
have
you. So,
you have options
yep,
because
go ahead.
Stripe does do subscriptions, so you could set them up on the subscription, and
Mm,
that'll make things a lot less intimidating for them, so they don't have to pay you 6 grand up front. But that means there has to
for
be a little
sure.
bit of trust between you guys, and you have to trust your contract in that case.
No, no, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. And you guys don't talk about results when that happens because I understand we're just selling the real estate, the exposure, and when I'm just wondering when it gets to the conversation of reoccurring, do you guys talk about results like QR, um, watching and stuff like that? So I'm kind of new, so I'm not sure how QR works, but yeah.
Yeah, so for me, this is actually my third month. Like I said, I sold one
Yeah,
card my
that's true.
first
That's
month,
true.
2 cards my second month, 3 cards my third month. In terms of conversations, the people who are willing to purchase multiple months in a row already know the value isn't
Mhm.
really in the immediate results, it's in the long-term results. So we haven't had those conversations yet because those results take some time and they understand that. But I'll get back
Appreciate
to
your
you
time.
in a few
Appreciate you.
months once we've had
Yeah,
those conversations.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Me too.
Do you have a QR code on every ad?
Not every ad, but I try to put them on a decent amount of them. The easiest, the most no-brainer one to do if they don't have any other call to action is just show their 5-star reviews, especially if it's a service business. I say something like, check out our 500 plus 5-star reviews if it's an HVAC company, for example, and people might keep the card just because of that because they had a bad experience with a different HVAC company. Now they know who to call next time because how can you disagree with 600 5-star reviews? So if they
Yeah.
have really good reviews, definitely use that.
And if you are using QR codes, where does that QR code take the consumer?
Yeah. So
Like, how does
if
that even work to show response to the advertiser?
Oh, in terms of the business, so there I don't know the names of them, but there are paid QR code generators that can actually track that'll track how much the traffic is. But if you want just a free one, it's Canva, but you wouldn't be able to track how many actual uses. And you can set the QR code to go to any URL. So I could set it to go. I would just paste in the URL. I want when they scan the QR code, I want them to go to Welch Oil's 5-star reviews, and I'll just paste in their URL. That makes sense.
Okay.
You can
Or it
set
could
those
go,
to text as well, the QR code. It'll prompt a text message to that person, whoever it is. You can direct it anywhere.
That's interesting.
So
I didn't know you could prompt them to text with the QR code.
text, email, yeah. Really, the tracking isn't the important thing. It's more about just the call to action to go check out their business
Yeah,
beyond the thing,
yeah.
So
It's about making it as frictionless as possible for the consumers to get a hold of the company or see their offer.
and that way also you're not committing to any results with the customer that you're advertising for, which
Sure.
opens up a whole new can of worms.
Hmm.
how many emails a day are you sending out in order to hustle?
Yeah. I'd probably average around 50 emails a day. Once I get a response, if they end up ghosting me after my second email, I always follow up 2 days later. And you'd be shocked how many more sales you'll make if you just follow up with the people who responded to you the first time. It's insane. Because most of the time you're probably going to assume that they ghosted you, but in reality, they forgot. They forgot about it. They thought to themselves, I am interested, but I don't want to get into this conversation right now, so I'm going to leave it on the back burner. 3 days later, they had already forgotten about it. You just need to put it back in their head. Probably 20% of the times that I follow up with these ghosting people, they come back and say, "Oh yeah, I'm in. I want a slot." It's just because they forgot. So you're leaving a lot of money on the
Mhm.
table if you don't follow up with those people.
Yeah. Are you talking about people who ghost you after they respond a first time?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And if
Mhm.
people don't respond, then maybe in a month that's still a fresh email list if they didn't respond because a lot of people don't check their email every day. They probably just didn't see it.
Are you hitting people with Facebook messages too, or primarily?
Yeah, I started out doing both email and Facebook, but I noticed that email had basically the same exact response rate, and email is also a lot quicker to collect and send. So I just focused on sending emails for the most part, but also posting on Facebook groups. I'm sure you've seen in the course is huge, and a lot of people are
Mhm.
getting a ton of wins with posting on Facebook groups lately. They've been posting about that. So,
Mhm.
yep. Dio has his hand
Is your
raised.
email?
Hey, I wanted to ask, so do you, so you're saying email is the best, like the quickest way to get a client, opposed to like phone calls or door to door?
No, not necessarily. It's honestly probably the slowest way. It's just the way that I did it, and it's the lowest barrier to entry because most people are afraid to make phone calls and things like that. So anybody can sell because anybody, I'm sure, is willing to use their email. So that's why I emphasize email, and that's the way I did it. But I know there is
Okay.
somebody who's got a ton of success lately with phone calls. They're in our group. I'm not sure if they're in this call, but I think they sold like 5 slots yesterday and a few slots the day before, and they had just started. This was their first
And
card. So
that's just doing phone call, correct?
yep, that's just from phone calls.
Oh, okay, got it. So all methods really work. It just varies. It's just different
Yep,
quickness and fastness of it.
100%. Yeah.
Got it.
Yep. You just got to find the one that works for you.
We get a script for phone calls.
I generally would recommend the same script. I'm pretty sure I put that in the course, but I would generally recommend a similar script to what I use in emails. I recommend basically the same script for everything. You kind of entice them with the idea, and then once they say they're interested, then you talk to them about the logistics and the price and things like that. But really, the general script for any form that I recommend is basically, hey, I'm I'm sending out a postcard to 5,000 homes in town, say the town. Is this something you'd be interested? Or sorry, I'm sending out a postcard to 5,000 homes in town, featuring respected local businesses. Is this something you'd be interested in being on? Question mark. That's it. And then let them respond. And they say, yeah, how much? That's usually what they say. That's almost always their question. Yeah, how much will it cost? And then that's when you actually dive into what it costs and the logistics and things like that. And usually they only have 3 or 4 questions after that, and you have a sale, or you didn't make the sale, and that's fine.
Hey,
Do you
Mitchell,
follow up with
Michael.
those ones that said no?
Sorry.
Would you follow up with the ones that said no?
Um, Probably not for a few months. It would depend on their actual response because like some would say, not right now. Spring is kind of a slow time for our business, and then that's when I would probably write in my notes next to them to follow up with them in a few months in summertime because then there'll probably be a sale if that was their only excuse.
And you're putting that on a Excel spreadsheet for your notes and everything?
Yeah, I use Google Sheets, but I'm migrating all my stuff into Go High Level right now, which is a CRM. It'll make things much more organized if you start there, but it's not totally necessary. I started on Google Sheets and did perfectly fine. It's once you're trying to really scale to 4 cards or more, that's when you'll probably want to invest in a good CRM to keep things organized.
All right, thank
Yep.
Hey, Mitchell, it's Michael.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good?
Um, oh shit, I just forgot my question. Ah, darn it. I was doing some research on some other people that were doing this program, and they were sending out 10,000. Is there a, a bonus or a benefit that you see going with 5,000 rather than 10,000, or either way?
Yeah, so I personally have only ever done 5,000. Um, and this is just my opinion. There's no science behind this, but in my opinion, racking it up to 10,000, obviously you're going to have higher prices. And for example, when I was doing 5,000 cards, my normal size slot was $500. And I feel like as soon as you start tiptoeing past that $500 mark, you're starting to reach a point where it's not really accessible to all small businesses. $500 can be accessible to just about anybody, but as soon as you have to raise your prices further than that, I feel like you're making it harder for yourself to sell. And the difference
Yeah.
between 5,000 and 10,000 cards, in my opinion, is like the difference between having $100 million and $200 million. It's like doesn't really change your life at that point. People are already impressed by the 5,000 addresses. You don't really have to rack it up to 10,000. That's just kind of unnecessary. There's a ton of value in the 5,000. And if you can keep your prices
Yeah.
down, you have much more potential customers to choose from.
Gotcha.
So
Okay, and thought of the other question. Did you say do you have a Facebook group for your school? Was that something you were saying? Other Facebook.
um no, I was mentioning Facebook. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, I post in local Facebook groups to try to sell
Yeah.
ad slots. So you
Okay.
there's scripts on the prospecting section of exactly what I posted as the caption in local Facebook groups, and then you basically businesses will reach out to you when you make those posts.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Looks like Will has his hand raised.
Hey Mitchell, how you doing?
Can't complain.
Hey, you rumbling, young man. You rumbling. We appreciate you all the work that you're putting in and what you're doing, my man.
I appreciate you guys. Can't do it without you.
My Yeah, for sure, for sure. My question is this, especially so the gentleman asked my question on the 5,000 versus 10,000, but my major question is fulfillment, right? Like, can you walk me through what it looks like to you get all the artwork in, you get a card finalized, you get it approved, you send it off to printing, you get the cards in the mail, I'm assuming to your address, and then you divvy them out. I'm trying to walk through like what does that look like fulfilling, getting them to the post office in their respective zones. Can you kind of walk through what that process is like for you? And is it possible to do that remotely in a city that you are not currently in?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question. So the way I fulfill things for you is as soon as you send me the file, you won't have to take care of anything else. So I'm actually able to do the every door direct mail paperwork and actually send it directly to your local post office or the post office that you're doing from a distance. And then they'll actually disperse it to the routes. So you don't actually have to handle the packages at any point because 5,000 cards takes up a ton of space, and that's going to be a lot of friction for a lot of people here. So I totally take care of that. So if you see any of my prices floating around on the group, that includes postage, which is about 22 cents per card, and that includes me taking care of all that fulfillment. That's the total price. You don't have to pay for anything else, and it takes care of everything.
Okay, cool. I was just trying to understand how it works though. Like, so when you do print a card, or when you put in a 5,000 piece print, I'm just trying to understand like what is that? What is your process that you all go through? Like, so do you all get those cards in bulk and then you ship them out, or do you ship them directly from the printer in subsets to the respective route or the respective post offices? I was just trying to understand like how
Yeah,
does that work on the back end?
yeah. So our team prints them, packages them into sets of 100 because that's required in order to send them to the post office. And then usually, depending on the location, we use FedEx or UPS to ship them to that respective post office. And then within the next day, the post office disperses it to the selected routes. So we've already done the paperwork and we send that to that post office so that they know what routes to send it out to.
I got it. So in our research, if we're targeting specific neighborhoods, like we let that be known to you all, like that those addresses or the I haven't looked at how you actually go through picking routes yet, but I'm
Yeah.
assuming like there's some areas that you choose and that you just put that with a list of where those need to go with the cards.
Yeah, exactly. So if you go to a website, I believe it's eddm.usps.com or .org. You'll find it if you just look up EDDM USPS. It's the US Postal Service. That's their every door direct mail system. If you just type that in, you'll actually be able to work with an interactive map and select the exact routes you want it to go to in that city. And it'll show you how many houses it's going to, how many businesses, and you can just select those routes. And then those are the route they have their own respective numbers. You'll give me those route numbers that you want it to actually get sent to.
10-4, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
I just put the link in the group there.
Perfect. Thank you, Jeff. All right, Grant, you got your hand raised?
Yeah, I'm just curious of what your printing rate is.
Yeah. So for everything combined, it is for a 5,000 card order, it's 4,000. So keep in mind that includes the postage. and it also includes my fulfillment. And then for a 10,000 card order, it's 6,600. So there's a bulk discount, obviously, and that also includes the fulfillment and the postage.
Okay, how much is the printing alone?
I'm gonna have to get back to you on that because I don't remember off the top of my head. But
Okay,
so
no worries.
is your name? Hold on, let me take your information. Is your name on the school community? Your name here?
Yeah, it's right there, I think.
All right.
Should be.
I'll put out a post as well, actually. That way people
Okay.
have both options.
Perfect,
Because
thanks.
yeah, it's also an option. The reason he's asking this is it's also an option that I ship the boxes directly to your house, and you take care of the postage and the fulfillment yourself. Because full transparency, my fulfillment I charge 8 cents per card for. So you'd be saving 8 cents per card if you didn't use me for fulfillment, which is totally fine.
Appreciate.
Yep. Gary.
Sorry, I had to unmute. Hey, what's up, Mitchell? Good to see you, brother. 60 people is pretty good event.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, I wanted to jump in because I did this myself before a long time ago. I've been a marketer and in sales for my whole life. And the guy was talking about, I forgot your name, sorry, brother, about the 5K versus the 10K. One of the things I posted in the chat to you, Mitchell, for you to look at, I'm sure you'll probably look at them at the end and maybe talk about them, was that I'm trying to sell 10K here in Atlanta. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. It's a big market. Each zip code around my house, within 10 miles of my house, is 25,000 houses per zip code. I'm only mailing to people that are over $100,000. If the route has to be over $100,000, annual income, and 70% more of the people are 45 or older because we sell mostly home services. So you have home services, personal, white collar services, i.e. lawyers, CPAs, bookkeepers, chiropractors, and then you have restaurants. If you don't have restaurants, the card's not sticky. So you need restaurants. And then for us, we put the Atlanta Braves schedule in the middle. We take the middle out and we do the Atlanta Braves, or we do the Falcons and the Hawks in the winter, because the goal is to get them to put it on the fridge and keep the damn thing, or use it as a placemat underneath their kids' table or put it in the drawer with all their stuff. So the problem is, if I just put ads for construction and remodel and windows, and my wife a real estate agent, they just throw it out. They look at it and glance at it. If they don't need it, we buy houses for cash. But if it's got those other sticky things on it and it's got the Atlanta Braves, then my goal is to keep it on the fridge. So unlike your plan, I don't mail every month. When I did it before, I mailed every 90 days. But what I would do is I'd mail to 20,000 houses each of 3 months, and then I would rotate. But it was great because my customers would be on that fridge. Half the people would put it on the fridge with a magnet, and they'd get 3 months worth of being on the fridge because of the Atlanta Braves schedule and all the sticky restaurant coupons. The problem I'm having is I'm just firing it back up again, and I'm excited to be in the group and getting your feedback. I go to sell 10,000 houses for $750 or $800, and it's a lot of pushback. Everybody wants to be $500 or less. And I bring this up because I'm not in York. I'm not in Timbuktu. These are $100,000 average, double, 1.5 the rest of the average America. These are very high-end northern neighborhoods of Atlanta.
Yeah.
And these are businesses that are big, big restaurants, big shops, big builders. They have, lots of money, millions of dollars of receipts a year. And it's been unbelievable how ready they are to pay me $500 for 5,000, and how much they drag, bro, for $750 or $800 for twice as many. Yeah. But I don't want to do it, man, because if I got to do 20,000 a month for myself and for all my main people, it means I got to do 4 groups of 5,000. Right? And it's so much easier for me to just put all my people on all 20,000 cards. So it's like a super logistical pain in the ass for me, excuse the French. But I just wanted to throw that out there. I know, a lot of people are looking for York, like your deal, but a lot of people might be in Houston or Chicago or LA or a bigger city. And man, so anyways, all I know to do is to do the 5K, because I think there's a lot of wisdom in your game plan. I wanted to give you some kudos that I think there's a lot of wisdom. I've never heard of selling 5K before you. And I follow Jake Lorraine. I've been following Jake for probably 15 years, as long as he's been online. I've met him a gazillion times, but he's always pushing 10, because there's a little discount on the printing. you got to do the same amount of work, right, Mitchell? It's the same amount of work whether you do 5 or 20. But man, there's something about the 5,000 people for $500. It's just like, I guess they know the Snickers bar is the right size for $1.29. I mean, anyways, I know you've already kind of said that's what you're thinking. I just wanted to add the big city vibe on that even I'm having problems in Atlanta.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And so we have 2 minutes left. So guys, if we get cut off, this will be the end, but we could continue the conversation in the group if you guys want. But also to get back on that, one thing that I've been doing is I target communities that are just far enough away from each other that they're not too close, but also just close enough to each other that businesses can bounce around from card to card. So it'll make your life easier of balancing 4 different $5,000 cards, because a lot of the businesses will be stickier and they'll just bounce around. So over time, at first it's going to be a grind, but over time you're going to have the same businesses just basically rotating anyway. So over time it'll get easier as long as you keep them close together. And then Gina.
Hi. Yeah, it was a while ago. I just wanted to get to the gentleman who was speaking on having problems with designing ads and also working with your templates. Once you bring up your format in Canva, if they go over to the search and push in ads, it'll bring up a whole slew of already pre-made ads that they can also customize and drag into the template. I was playing around with it last night and really easy and simple way to go about it.
That's awesome to know. I'm going to use that.
Yeah. All right.
Hopefully
Thank
you're
you.
still there. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Any last words of wisdom? We have less than a minute.
Let's get out and do it.
All right. Let's do it.
Thanks again, Mitchell.
Yeah. I appreciate you guys coming here.
Thank you.
Keep talking in the group. I love it. I appreciate you guys all helping each other win. We all win together.
Yeah, thanks, Mitchell. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Yep.
Mitchell.
Thank you.